Hey guys, it's your favorite Dynabot here, and yeah, this was coming for a while. A 2025 update for the Transformers Cosmology. So be sure to comment down below, like, subscribe, and share with your friends. So without further ado, let us begin. So, to start off with the basics, Transformers is an entire Omniverse, consisting of multiple continuities put together. Keep in mind, these continuities are all infinite in size. Now you might say, Legendary, what do I mean by continuities? Well, believe it or not, the continuity family is also known as universal streams, are pretty much labeled by individuals. G1, Bayverse, Aligned, and Unicron Trilogy all are their own universes to start off. However, they go into multiverses. Now, how does this multiverses pretty much happen, right? Well, glad you guys asked. You see, in these main universes, basically the TV shows or the books that we read, right? You see, one character can have a thought or an action, and this breaks off into a branch line timeline where this action changes everything, which creates a multiverse. So again, every continuity starts off as an infinite sized universe, but then divulges into an infinite multiverse because of the infinite possibilities of one person's actions, which can lead into many other things. And then these possibilities also have possibilities because it just keeps on going. So keep in mind, every Transformers multiverse or every Transformers continuity is an infinite sized multiverse that is ever growing. Now, keep in mind also that every multiverse operates on quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics dives into the infinite dimensional spaces that each, universe or each space contains. So each Transformers multiverse operates on an infinite dimensional level. Now you might say, okay, what about the 17 to 22 brand cosmology? Well, believe it or not, Vector Prime actually explains that that is the basic brand dimensions that we are allowed to kind of comprehend. Because again, there's always something more. There's always something further. It's like reading a book, but only going to the back of it to kind of get a synopsis of the book. But again, you have to read the book further in order to get it. Basically, what I'm saying here is that in order to really understand the quantum mechanics, you're going to have to dive further into it. You're going to have to read it. You're going to have to study it. But again, if you go into quantum mechanics, you're going to discover Hilbert space, and you're going to have to dive into that as well. So basically, what Vector Prime is telling the interviewer here is that, yes, for the basic understanding, we do have a 22 brand dimensional space. However, there's more information that comes with that. So you would basically have to go ahead and study it. Now, when it comes to other Transformers multiverses or other Transformers continuities, they all have something different. For example, Shattered Glass is a multiverse that expands across multiple continuities. Basically, every version has a negative version of themselves or a positive version about themselves. For example, Shattered Glass Optimus and Shattered Glass Megatron are complete opposites from the mainline continuity of Optimus and Megatron. Then you have IDW. IDW has conceptual universes that embody various concepts, including having metaphysical realms which are purely conceptual in nature. Keep in mind, metaphysical spaces are basically like the concepts of imagination, basically your thought process and stuff like that. Then you also have some of these universes, or some of these continuities, also have microspaces. Now, microspaces are created by the likes of Micronus Prime, an abstract entity. And these spaces are confirmed to be beyond the concepts of space, time, and death. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. But keep in mind, this does pertain to the multiverse that they are a part of. So there's one in G1, there's one in IW, and they're beyond the space-time of these infinite dimensional multiverses, okay? However, there's still more to it. Funny, isn't it? You see, there are higher realms, higher dimensional planes. Now you might say, Legendary, what are these higher dimensional planes? Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, these higher dimensional planes are basically these specific universes that have such a higher level of transcendence that they make the cosmology of these multiverses small. For example, Cloud World is one of the higher points in the Transformers Omniverse that pretty much oversees everything, right? But then you also have Alternity, which is a realm that transcends that. Keep in mind, again, transcending means to be significantly above. So if Cloud Worlds is above the Omniverse, we even know, it's one of the few realms that protects it, then you have Alternity, which transcends the Cloud World, right? And it's basically a higher dimension than that. You guys get what I'm saying, right? Okay. So, with that being said, all these multiverses have their own higher dimensions. Sometimes these higher dimensions do connect with other multiverses, okay? So each multiverse across the Transformers Omniverse is easily connected throughout their higher dimensions. But again, keep in mind, the higher dimensions are literally transcending these multiverses to such a degree that they are confirmed to be small in comparison. Like, insignificant. That means they are likely tens, if not thousands of times higher than the likes of a basic multiverse, or at least to what they look like. They look basic compared to these higher dimensions. But then you also have other dimensions that contain everything. Concepts, time zones, realities, everything combined into one. That would be Zero Space, which contains everything and nothing, including the narratives of the story. Then you have things like the Dead Universe. The Dead Universe itself has always been a constant throughout the entirety of the Transformers continuity. Depending on what it is, though, the Dead Universe is still a higher dimension that is able to merge everything pertaining to the specific multiverse that either someone is using or the very living being that embodies it, that being the Void. The Void basically is a sentient mass, which is a pretty common occurrence in Transformers. And keep in mind as well, he can merge and destroy everything, including things like infinite-sized voids that exist within the Transformers cosmology. So, just to kind of give a basic synopsis of the basics of Transformers here, you have the entire Omniverse being consisted of multiple continuities. These continuities are all infinite-sized multiverses that operate on an infinite dimensional level and have higher realms that transcend these infinite dimensional multiverses to the point where they look small. But let's go further. With the Transformers Omniverse itself, there are other realms that pretty much contain within these multiverses, giving them a much more fleshed out cosmology. For example, Cthulhu mythos actually belongs in both the IDW franchise and the Unicron Trilogy franchise. And keep in mind, we also know that Transformers has been connected to Dungeons and Dragons for years. And thanks to the likes of Magic the Gathering, we also know that the Transformers actually exist within the verse as a whole, with their power levels rivaling, if not surpassing, that of the dragons themselves, which are some of the most powerful entities in the base level of the material plane. And keep in mind, this is very important, considering Dungeons and Dragons. If you guys will watch any of my D&D videos or go to my D&D playlist and stuff like that, we also understand that Dungeons and Dragons operates as a multi-layered, infinitely layered multiverse, easily getting to Outerversal quite casually. So, with Transformers existing on there, and the higher tiers, which are basically Optimus, Megatron, and Grimlock respectively, basically scaling to beings that easily get to those Outerversal levels, being able to affect these concepts that exist within the cosmology, it easily gets them to Outerversal. However, with the fact that the Cthulhu mythos is also confirmed to be canon to the Transformers cosmology, thanks to Ramjet's bio, which confirms that the Elder Gods exist within the cosmology, then you also have the fact that Infestation is confirmed canon to the IDW continuity in general. This means that the Cthulhu mythos basically, gets their basic scaling within the Transformers cosmology, because we do know that the Elder Gods still have their realm there, which actually consists of multiverses that are beyond the concepts of mathematics. And keep in mind, this is nothing new to Transformers, considering the fact that they have realms that also negate the concepts of mathematics. Meaning that, again, this adds on to Transformers cosmology, and if, again, you want to get that scaling for that, I think it's pretty simple that the Cthulhu mythos easily gets to the likes of Outerversal casually. So you have Dungeons and Dragons, and you have the Cthulhu mythos that makes up the Transformers Omniverse. Okay, they pretty much just add on to it. And again, I have to emphasize, this is still the Omniverse, okay? We haven't even gotten out of it yet. Legendary, what do you mean by that? Oh, don't worry, you guys are going to find out, okay? But I want y'all to really pay attention here. I want y'all to really learn. Because again, the Transformers cosmology is very simple to really understand. And very simple to get into. Now you might say, Legendary, what about the other verses you mentioned in past videos, like Ben 10 and stuff like that, and Marvel? Yes, Transformers has had their time in Marvel, so you can even add their cosmology to that, and vice versa. I think it's pretty simple that, you know, the Transformers cosmology, you know, and Marvel have been intertwined for years, with Transformers even having their own Marvel characters that are confirmed to be able to exist in there. Like the Fantastic Four and a few members of the Avengers are actually confirmed to exist in there as well. And then you have the time Circuit Breaker was also in Secret Wars here. So yes, you can easily add on the Marvel cosmology to Transformers as well, because even then the basic stuff for the Marvel cosmology easily gets it to Outerversal. And again, you guys have watched my Marvel Optimus Prime video, you guys have watched my Marvel Grimlock video, you guys understand that they get to those levels quite casually, okay? Now you might say, Legendary, what about Fortnite? Okay, you can add that too, because again, it's just older versions of the Nightverse versions of Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal. Okay, so you again can add that to the Transformers cosmology, but keep in mind though, it also adds to the others as well. So again, it's kind of like a, albeit you could definitely say Fortnite is just like a multiversal or a omni-megaversal convergence point for everybody, and they're just pretty much like that, right? But keep in mind, Transformers also adds us to the continuity. Yes, we are a part of the Transformers cosmology, and this has been confirmed because they actually consider their toy line a part of the Transformers Omniverse. Yes, we are considered a part of it as well. And yeah, anybody that's got a Unicron figure, make sure y'all make a deal with it. Yeah, y'all gotta make a deal with it, or y'all gonna have an Optimus Prime near it, preferably a few. Yeah, make sure y'all keep that Unicron figure in check. But jokes aside here, this does mean that every toy line or every version of their toy line is pretty much canon. Now, obviously, it's basic toys like Fall of Cybertron, Transformers Prime, you know, the extended Beast Hunter storyline, Fall of Cybertron and stuff like that. You have Monster Hunter, you have Zoids, and now we have Godzilla, which, I'm gonna be real with y'all, they butchered it. I swear, I'm annoyed by it. I mean, sure, you know, it's great to have these kind of figures being announced, but come on, y'all could have did 10 times better. Like, I would love a Megatron King Ghidorah or a Grimlock Gorosaurus, but nah, we can't even get none of that. So, just to kind of wrap up right here, before I really get into the very interesting part here, something that might shock y'all, or some of those who are new, it may shock y'all. But, yeah, you could easily get the Transformers continuity to Outerversal, High Outerversal, etc. But here's this. This is the Tree of Life. And everything I just talked about previously is the lowest part of the multiverse. The knowledge. Yeah, you see, the funny part about that is, if the lowest parts of the Transformers cosmology, you know, the material realm, right? If that is the basic part of the Omniverse, of the entire cosmology, that's where the Omniverse is, right? I want y'all to think about something. What does that say about every single realm that I'm about to talk about that is confirmed to transcend the Omniverse? And they transcend each other, right? So
I want y'all to really like comprehend that real quick. The omniverse by itself gets to outerversal to higher outerversal quite casually, right? But then you also have, again, you also have things like the rest of the tree of life that just simply look at it like, okay, it's there. It's a part of us. I mean, it's the lowest point. Like, it's not much. You're looking at something that just completely transcends you and your entirety. I feel like it's not talked about as much here. But again, like I said, the knowledge is the first part of the tree, right? But then you also have the foundation. Be sure to pause and read because, again, I'm not going to be here all day explaining these parts to y'all. Then you have eternity and splendor. Two realms that pretty much sit on the same bracket of the tree as each other. But again, they both transcend the foundation, which transcends the omniverse. But then transcending that is the beauty. Okay? Another, again, realm that's a part of the tree of life. And keep in mind, by the way, this is a process that happens to sparks or to Cybertronians that die. Meaning they constantly go higher in their ascension points, right? And keep in mind, characters like Unicron, the 13 Primes, and Primus are casually able to harm them. Okay, like there's no other way to really spell it out for y'all. They are capable of destroying all this here. Then after the beauty, you have the serenity and then mercy. Again, sitting on the same bracket as this one, but again, above the likes of the beauty, which transcended splendor and eternity itself. So it goes up again, but with these two realms pretty much sharing the same bracket. But then we go up yet again. But this time it's like a blank space in between it. No one knows why. No one knows what's there. It's kind of like a little bit of a stopping point for you to kind of process about what just happened. And then you have understanding and wisdom that transcend that blank space. And then finally, you reach the Allspark itself. The final area where all sparks pretty much go to rest and to be at peace. Everything at that point just simply, I guess you could say honestly, just stops at that point, right? But then you also have the astral plane. Yeah, that's pretty much the highest point in the Transformers cosmology in general. It's a area that inhabits the true forms of Primus, the 13 Primes, at least on occasion. They can easily go there, and the guiding hands. You see, the reason why I'm saying the Primes go there on occasion is because their true forms are still in a realm beyond the higher dimensions in the Omniverse. But they have to be there in order to protect it from Unicron. They're basically the first line of defense against Unicron, while the guiding hands are pretty much the last ones here. Okay? So, with that being said here, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to comment down below, like and subscribe, and share with your friends. And I understand there are going to be some complaints about this. If anyone does have any questions, please be respectful, and yes, I will answer them. If you have a question about, okay, how, what Transformers do against this or that, or is there something I'm not, you're not comprehending about it, please let me know down below, and I will be able to simplify it for you guys. But with that being said here, I do hope you guys enjoyed this 2025 update, and next we will be talking about can Unicron solo the Marvel universe, and then we will be getting into the Shroud. Okay, peace.